Hey there, it's Catherine and Brian from Moonstarlodge in South Central Ontario with your reading for the week of July 21st to the 27th. In this week we shift from from Cancer to Leo. We move from Loves All Things to She Who Heals. A lot of action. We are still with the birds and the deity-like information that they have to share. I always post a picture of the reading layout with the card decks used, so if you want to look back on that and see it for yourself, that's great. Otherwise, you can listen to last week's reading. There are some cards that have come up again, so this is pretty cool. We're still moving out of a reading that really exemplified peace and balance. This week is how we take this action further. At least that's what I'm picking up from it. So, without further ado, Brian, let's go to the cards. So, if you are a sharp-eyed follower of this channel and you saw last week's reading, you will note that the card that begins this week's reading is the card that ended last week's reading as a clarifier. And I swear on O'Day's Boney that it was well shuffled. All the decks are well shuffled in between. It takes me a long time to shuffle them with my hands the way they are, but they were shuffled. So we start this week out with the world, the end, and that the world is always the end of a sacred karmic journey. There are many journeys from beginnings, like as the Fool, to card 21, which is the end of a karmic cycle. In the numerological work that I studied in university, it often follows that the first cycle is from birth to the age of 27, the second cycle is 28 to 54, and the third cycle is beyond 54. So we are moving through cycles. Last week was the end of a cycle, and this week starts with that end of a cycle, moving on from it. So the world is ours. We can savor and relish our completion. It's clarified by a card from the Thoth deck that is the Goddess of Columns. That's the same in any other deck as the King of Wands. So, an intellectual powerhouse, an energetic powerhouse. That's the energies that having it all makes and measures. So this is a powerful beginning to this week. The second card is a reversed card. It's the Devil reversed. It means that we understand in order to keep the momentum and not sully or muddy the new beginnings that we're heading on to, we have to let go of any habits, addictions, connections, laziness, lack of movement, manipulation. We're letting go of anything that's possibly going to restrain us or stop us from moving forward. And it's clarified by the Fool, which says we are successfully moving out of any attachments that we have that could be problematic. Card 3 is the Emperor. Wow. That's big shoes. So we have the energy, the archetype of the Emperor. The power and the mental agility, the capacity not to be pulled out of alignment, being surrounded on either side here, the Devil card in reverse being surrounded by the Emperor, and the World card says a lot about a maturing into powerfulness. Some of the attributes of the Emperor are a lot like the King of Wands in some ways. So this is, we're powerfully protected. The Emperor is clarified by the Robin. And the Robin is about new beginnings. It doesn't matter how much ice is still on the pond. The Robin shows up saying, don't look at the surface. Don't look at the surface, the snow that might be still hanging around the corners of the lot or at the base of trees. Know that whatever you might think or however you might feel, renewal is happening. This is our opportunity coming out of this and this for complete renewal. And the renewal is clarifying here the Emperor, and it's also the gift of the Emperor is the chance to make right. The institutional aspect of the Emperor says structure and order and power in the way of right relationship with renewal. This is a repeat card, although it was from a different deck. This is the 8 of Wands. So it's very quick movement through what we have to deal with this week. But just know that the 10 of Cups, last week it was the 9 of Cups, 10 of Cups is the pure happiness at our emotional levels, our family levels, our immediate community. It's just pure happiness beyond the self and with a greater reach. Okay. Because there's, in my cultural tradition, the crow and ravens represent shaman. There's the capacity here for messages coming very quickly from spirit and from the shamanic kingdoms, from shaman in spirit. So it's fast action, but it's also a lot of quick communication, as I'm being told. Last week we had the 2 of Wands, and this week we have the 3. So we've made enough choices here to pick the right path to move on. It's very important. Spirit sees our movement forward, and there is delight in the fact that we are keeping pace. And here we have the Queen of Cups again. This exact card was in last week's reading. The Queen of Cups is emotional balance, the kind that you want to have, the intuition, the levels of intuition that you want to have when all of this is going on. So, yeah, emotional maturity is a big part of the Queens. So this is an important card, even if it's in just a clarifying position. The next card is the Knight of Pentacles, the one who's kind of methodical, thinks every step, surveys carefully, is protective of what seeds have been sown, doesn't pull the plants up out of the field to see if they'd taken root. Patient, very patient. And it's important for us to be patient. Although things are happening quickly, there is a need for us to still be cautious, not freaked out. Excuse me, I have to take a sip here. methodical and with purpose. So our good night here is clarified by the Oriole card. A new creative venture is on the horizon. See it as a positive change. Well, that's a good thing. Always good. The final card made me smile. It's the High Priestess. Again, there are 8 crows, or parts of crows here, similar to this. The perfect melding of spirit, the calling down the knowledge, a little bit different than the temperance angel of alchemy. This is a divine presence, very important divine presence, collectively for all of us in this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the following week is. Not that I'm wishing time away, but I'm gobsmacked. The communication here between us and the High Priestess is telling. This is divinely ordained, and it's a collective reading. So again, the principles will impact us all somewhat differently, but they are the same processes, if not the same exact information. The card clarifying the High Priestess says, the vibration of the spoken word has the power to shape the sacred space in which your spirit rests. That's an important clarifier. A lot of people pray in silence. If you pray, a lot of rituals are done and it's all in the head. The vibration of the human voice is extremely important because it is a vibration that penetrates everything around it, fills the space, and if you watch any of these ghost hunter shows, it's the thing that they want spirits, the investigators want spirits to speak their names. Well, speaking your name and the I am aspect of that is important. So the High Priestess needs us to speak our words, and those vibrations help her bring into this dimension from the spirit world that which is important in terms of our future growth. All right, Brian, you can... Yeah, that's another major sense of movement. Summer is supposed to be a relaxing time of rest and recovery, but this is clearly, things are happening, if not in this dimension, certainly in other dimensions, and we are part of that. We are part of that process. Thanks for being here, and thanks for supporting us. Thanks for all you do to help us continue with this venture that's now 5.5 years old. We had a channel for much longer than that, but it's been sporadically attended to. But this has never, we've never had a week without a reading since it began in 2020. Anyway, thanks for being you, and thanks for connecting. Aho.